Hey guys, welcome back to the Spillway. I am Aaron.
And I am Zach.
It has been a couple weeks.
It has.
A month and a half since Zach and I have been in the recording studio of Zach's basement.
And woo! Live from the basement.
Live from the basement. So we are here. We got a little busy with life, but we haven't forgotten about you.
Absolutely not, guys. And we will be trying to be as consistent as we can. We appreciate you guys being cognizant of that and appreciative of that. And, you know, we're figuring this thing out slowly but surely. So it'll be little by little, we'll get our stuff out there. But today, we are going to talk about differences. At least we're going to start there. The one thing I will say is there's going to be some topics in this video that might be a little touchy for some people, given recent events. We are going to be addressing and discussing the Charlie Kirk murder, or assassination, whichever way, with same difference. We're going to be discussing that a little bit, and that's kind of what spurred this thought on for me, at least. I've always had this idea of doing a talk or a conversation about differences, and mainly differences in how to behave, how to treat others, and the competing ideologies and stuff like that. And we're going to get a little bit tistic with it, just a little bit. I'm going to get into definitions and meanings and root phrases, origins of words, things like that. So bear with us, guys. It's going to be a little bit more of an in-depth one, a little bit more heartfelt. I mean, we're very heartfelt, but a little bit more touchy. But keep that in mind. So thank you for joining us today on our talk, and let's get the conversation rolling. So differences.
It's interesting because we live in a world that is so full of options.
Yeah.
And choices, and especially here in the U.S.
Yep.
We are very fortunate to have multiple opportunities come our way.
Absolutely.
And it's kind of one of those deals where it's like you have to notice those opportunities when they come. And there's so many career paths someone could take, or you go and prepare life for this. Well, you're really good at this and you got good training in it and you got the skills here and you can go off into multiple directions and who knows where it can take you. But I think when we talk about differences, there's so many ways. I guess I'm trying to think of all the differences out there, or the opposite of certain things or beliefs, or
you could go into how many there are, and that's the great thing about humanity, right? Is that we're all so different. Being able to set differences aside and come have a conversation. You and I are a good example of that. Yes, we believe a lot of the same things. We agree on a lot of things.
Right.
But there are some poinent topics that we disagree on.
Of course.
But it has never once turned to anger or malice or hatred towards one another. It's just, and even if the other, healthy debate, trying to convince each other to see the side we deem that's right or is right or whatever, right? Correct, I should say. Too many rights there, you can't... 2 rights don't make a wrong, but 3 rights don't make a left. But, whatever. Anyway, when you discuss with someone openly topics of any sort, from favorite sports teams to which Star Wars was the best, to politics, to religion, to sensitive topics, people lose the plot more and more. Because it has become more about our differences than what it should be, which is what we have in common.
There's so many rivalries, maybe we can call them that. And I think rivalries can be a good thing. I think
competitive. Yes.
Yeah, I think from a competitive nature, but even in the world of competition, there's something called sportsmanship.
Yep.
And being, what's the word I'm looking for? When we talked about compassion in our last episode, but what does it mean to be a sportsman?
You appreciate your adversary.
Yes, 100%.
There's even that outside of sports. Sun Tzu, The Art of War, Don't disrespect your enemy. Respect them. Appreciate who they are.
Absolutely.
Destroy them, but respect your enemy.
Gangs in New York.
Gangs of New York, yes.
Perfect example.
Great movie. If you guys have not seen Gangs of New York, one of Scorsese's best.
Absolutely.
Absolutely fantastic.
Love
movie.
it. Love it.
But that's another topic for a different time.
We got a lot of them.
We have a lot of those. Well, we put a pin in a lot of stuff. We will eventually circle back up.
We
on
will.
this.
But yeah, and with differences of opinion and differences of likes and dislikes, I mean, look at you and I.
Yeah.
I mean, there's, like you said, there's some things we agree on. There's stuff completely we don't agree on at all. But one cool thing about your and mine's friendship is we've always been able to talk about them.
Yeah, openly.
Openly. We may not fully agree with what each other's saying, but at least we take the time to look at the perspective.
Correct.
That's not ours. And sometimes you got to give yourself that out-of-body experience and be like, okay, well, here's my mindset, here's my bias. Well, I'm going to leave that here. I'm going to come look at it from the outside view because someone is always going to think differently than you.
Oh, yeah.
Someone's always going to have an opposite opinion. There's always two sides to every story. There's no, I mean, and everyone thinks that probably, like, I know how life is, and that's where I've come to grow my decisions from. What is it? John Locke called it the tabula rasa.
Yeah.
With your experiences coming, and that's what forms you with your peers and stuff, and you get there.
See, where I grew up, we just call it seasoning. That's exactly what it is. You have to be seasoned. You have to have those experiences, be them good, bad, or different, to grow as an individual.
Well,
show me somebody who's never gone through anything in life, and I'll show you somebody who doesn't know a thing. It's true. It's
right. Well, and I think just trying to get my words here with differences of opinion. How I would want to know what the opposite thinks.
Right.
I would want to know that understanding because I think it would only do a couple things. Get you to change your mind, and we've said this on here, or just confirm your beliefs that much more of what you believe.
Yeah, so it either dead sets you in the realization that what you believe is truly what you believe. Debate, argument, conversation, even opposing conversation, for me, is needed. The last thing you want to do is live in an echo chamber. If you live in an echo chamber where everybody agrees with you, no one disagrees with you, no one challenges you, and we've talked about this in a couple other episodes.
It'd be boring.
It'd be not only boring, but you'll never hone your skill. As iron sharpens iron, so too does man sharpen man.
Point.
So you have to be challenged in life. If you're never challenged in life, you never know what point you're being tested at.
Right.
And you can never, because you're inevitably going to be challenged by somebody. And if you've never been challenged before, and even softly by friends, and being able to start developing those skills of when I say combative conversation, I don't mean combative in the terms of combatives, being hostile, but combative conversation and debate to where you take something on opposing sides and go head to head with it. You know me, one of my favorite things to do is play devil's advocate. Even if I 100% believe what you're saying,
right,
I will take the opposing viewpoint just to see if you'll hold your footing. Just to see if you can explain to me why you believe what you believe. Even if it's sit here and let's debate Christianity, right? I will pretend for a moment like I don't believe. I 100% believe. But I will pretend for a minute and try to challenge you when you're on that to see where you're coming from.
Right.
Because if you've never been challenged on it, how are you going to debate someone or talk to someone about your faith or your political views or what pizza recipe is the best, or that pineapple 100% does belong on pizza, because those who say it don't are heretics.
Absolutely,
and
they are.
I'll die on that hill. And how do you present your argument of why you believe the way you believe or what you believe when you're challenged if you've never been challenged before?
Well, and I think if you're not challenged in it and, not necessarily prepared for it, but at least have a response, do you actually really truly believe it?
Correct.
Or is that actual true in your life, or is it just motions and words you're going through?
The three biggest points that I instantly stop listening to somebody when they start telling me something they believe and what discredits them completely is they'll either start and end the conversation with, why is it you believe what you believe, or why are you telling me this? Well, it was how I was raised. Okay, and that's a great foundation. Don't get me wrong. I was raised Christian. I was raised conservative. I was raised country.
Yeah, you got to know.
But I reaffirmed those because I discovered that I truly believed those things as I was raised. I buried myself in them by learning more about them and learning about the opposite.
It's kind of like that saying, I can't remember who said it. How are you going to know where you're going if you don't know where you're coming from?
Correct. And it's important to know where you're coming from. But if you start and end the conversation with, why do you believe what you believe? Well, it's because of how I was raised. That's a great way to say I started with how I was. See, I've always said, this is how I was brought up, but it started there. I learned myself and challenged to make sure that's what I truly believe.
Right.
But I was also raised to challenge.
Right.
I think even though I was brought up in those traditionalist mindsets,
right,
I was also taught to challenge.
Right.
Which is important. You must teach your children to always... They need to be the why kid, not to the point to where you want to hurt them, but they need to be the why kid. Why? Because it's learning.
Right.
So that's the big point one. If somebody, why do you believe what you believe? Why are you telling me? It was because of how I was raised. Okay, and have you ever looked past that? Well, no. I just took, my parents at their word, or whoever
Grandpa
at their
did,
word.
so I'm going to keep doing it because it was what Grandpa did.
Correct, and that's fine if you've looked into it,
right,
and you've made sure that it is what's right for you. But if you're just doing it out of tradition and not out of actual understanding,
right,
you're not doing it correctly.
Right. Well, and I think, just lost my train of thought. Darn it!
It happens. There it goes. Chugga chugga choo choo.
Yeah, and I think, being a person of faith, I've challenged God before.
Mm-hmm. God says to challenge. He doesn't say to challenge him in the terms of him being God.
Right.
But he says to test faith.
Yes.
Test faith is in the Bible. Yeah. God says, God and Jesus and the Holy Spirit, the Holy Trinity, multiple times, well, God and Jesus, but multiple times throughout the Bible, it says test prophets, test your faith. Test God within reason, but test nonetheless. Challenge within reason, but challenge nonetheless. Some of God's favorite individuals in biblical studies and in the Bible were people who openly challenged him.
Right.
Jonah was eaten by a whale because of his challenging and delivered to Nineveh. Not even that. So take the faith part out of it. Challenge through history. I mean, there throughout history, over and over and over again, there are people who challenge each other. Erwin Rommel and George S. Patton in World War II were opposing forces. The list goes on and on. General Hal Moore in Vietnam versus, I cannot remember the VC general for the life of me. Horrible about that time period. That's not our side. But there was his counterpart. Essentially, there was. The point is this: the list is endless, truly endless throughout history. General Robert E. Lee and Grant, Civil War. George Washington and our founding fathers that served under George or with George against. Cornwallis. Thank you. I had it on the tip of my tongue. General Cornwallis. Yet again, that's just recent history. That's not going back to, Well,
look what we were just talking about this before we started. Look at the Federalist and Anti-Federalist papers. Out of both of those grew the greatest document of the past.
Yeah, those ones right there.
Yeah, right above our heads.
Have them hammered to the wall.
Yeah, one of the most greatest documents ever written in all of human history.
Martin Luther and the Catholic Church.
Oh, big one there.
The first Martin Luther, not Martin Luther King Jr., the man he was named after.
95 Theses.
95 Theses.
Martin
hammered
Luther.
to the door.
The reformer.
Yeah. Essentially the start of being Protestant.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Of course.
And so it's interesting. You have to challenge. So number one, yet again, guys, we get on tangents.
They tried killing him multiple
times. So number one, raised. How I was raised. If it starts and ends with how I was raised, I'm sorry, you're wrong. That's my standpoint. You can argue with me, but you're wrong. If you've never challenged it, it's a great base. It's a great foundation, but you're going to build a house with a foundation and not sturdy walls. You're just going to put a roof on a foundation and call it good.
We got we got this thing between our ears and behind our eyes. It's called your brain, and it's called free will.
And you have to exercise it. So the second one that and this one's even bigger than I was raised a certain way, is, well, I heard that's what the TV tells me. That's what the TV told me. Or that's what papers told me. Or that's what the blah, blah, blah. Yeah, pick a medium. That's what the media of some sort, has told me. And no, immediately, no. Is somebody, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a conservative telling me something that I agree with. Mm-hmm. But if you start and stop the conversation with, I heard this from Fox News. Or you start and stop the conversation of, I heard this on CNN. Or I heard this on CBS. And you never looked past that.
Oh yeah, that's just one direction.
Like you can say it's perfectly all right to be like, well, I heard it on the news, okay, but I did some digging and this is what it actually is, and this is what I actually found out, because the information's out there. Or you know what, man, I heard this. I don't know if it's true. I'm kind of skeptical, or I'm not 100% sure I could see it, but what have you heard about it? But if you're just telling me, no, this thing happened, or I believe this thing because some media source told me, and that's where I saw that, and you did nothing past that. I instantly invalidate your argument. Instantly. Because you've gotten one source and you have not bothered, because you really don't care.
Right.
You really don't care.
You're lazy.
Yeah.
Don't be lazy.
It's apathy. It's apathy. I'm being told what I want to hear. Yeah. I'm not searching, which we'll go into that here in a minute.
And then you keep going onto that track, and it's like, people, I don't know if anyone realizes this, and I'm sure our listeners do. Broadcasters get paid to...
They get paid to lie. No, I'll call it. They get paid to lie.
They get paid to lie. They're told what to say.
Yeah.
And it's people with money that tell them what to say. And it's their opinion. It's one-sided. It's not challenged. It's only one directional.
It's very interesting. You can match. People have done it on YouTube, and you can still find the video sometimes. People have matched across the nation news sources and put them side by side, and they get in a sync after the first few words, and they all say the exact same thing. That is not a free press. We live in a country that needs to have free press. That is not a free press. That is a press that has been bought and paid for and being shown what to say.
It's been...
Do not... Yet again, I'm going to say this. You don't... One of my favorite group of guys say this, and I'm not going to say who it is, but if you watch them, you guys will know this. You do not hate your journalists enough. You truly don't. You don't hate journalists enough. And you don't hate politicians enough either.
Right.
That just they need to be held accountable for their actions, and they're not.
Right.
And they're not. There used to be a time. I remember a time when journalism was a noble profession. Yeah, there were always those ones that lied and cheated and did whatever and ran BS stories because of who they were, and they were just going for views. And at that time, it was cable.
Right.
But comparatively, it wasn't as bad as it is now.
No.
I get most of my information, most of my news sources, free range, free press. I will find somebody that follows stuff and with a phone camera or a GoPro, and they just get in the stuff and see what happens. No journalist degree, no political science major, nothing. Just a guy and a camera and maybe a couple other dudes or something like that, but they're out there in it, asking questions, figuring it out, much like an individual named Charlie Kirk.
Very much so.
Who started a program aptly called Turning Point, to which, unfortunately for his family, and our thoughts and prayers go out to them.
Of course.
Legitimately, like, it's a tagline to say thoughts and prayers. I have prayed for them this past week every day. And that's not, ooh, look at me, I'm doing good. No, nothing can repair the damage that was done.
Especially when they were there.
It's that, so I didn't realize, I saw some of the unedited video.
I couldn't watch it.
I unfortunately
couldn't watch
I
it.
unfortunately saw some of the very raw early on. Yeah. It's a rough thing. That kind of stuff has never bothered me. Not that his death doesn't bother me, but that type of video watching has never bothered me. What messed me up, like literally I had to walk outside and I audibly told myself to stop being a bitch and stop crying. And my wife was like, "What's wrong with you?" I was like, "I just need a minute." Somebody put together a clip of him with his daughters.
Ooh.
From the various different things he had done.
Of course.
One of them, it's opened with like some Good Morning America thing he was on, and his daughter ran up to him so excited to see her daddy, and she said, "Daddy," and all I saw was my daughter, and I man cried.
Of course you did.
I started like breaking down. I'm like, because don't get me wrong, it's horrible what happened to him, but I didn't know the man personally.
Right.
I've never met him. I've never been to one of his talks. I watched him a lot. I followed him. I didn't realize he was younger than me, which that kind of messed with me a little bit. But, and I agreed with, I'm going to safely say 99% of everything he said.
Yeah, there was definitely
I
stuff
never saw,
with
the only thing I ever disagreed with him on video-wise that I saw was he said pancakes were better than waffles, and I don't agree with that. That was a legitimate debate he had with somebody, and I'm like, nah, that one right there, you lost me there. That's the only time he's ever lost me.
Right.
But past that, and that it was a joking thing, but it was a good debate, very interesting that his viewpoint on it. But that messed me up seeing that video, and it hit me in a way that I've never, like, I've watched famous people die throughout my life, right? Like being either taken too early or dying, passing on from natural causes. We just lost Robert Redford.
That's
one
right.
One of my favorite actors, like old school actors.
89 years old.
Like that kind of stuff's never bothered me.
Jeremiah Johnson.
Yeah, Jeremiah Johnson. And Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid.
That's right.
Because he wasn't Butch. He was the Sundance Kid. Because Butch was not Swayze.
No.
Oh God, who? Paul Newman.
Was it?
Yeah. Well, it was Newman. Anyway, kids, if you're watching this, or anybody who's younger than 30, and you've never actually, even our generation,
heard of Jeremiah Johnson?
Yeah, Jeremiah Johnson or Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Those older movies, fantastic. But regardless, right? He was an individual who provoked thought and lived in differences, but would debate out of love and kindness. And
he would always say, when people stop talking is when we start losing our society and things.
Yes.
When people stop communicating and stop debating and coming to find solutions and find
that's when we lose humanity.
That's when we lose humanity.
When it becomes
when we
us versus them.
And and I think with his unfortunate fate, that's exactly the person that did that just proved his point.
Oh yeah, and we've seen this time. Here's the kicker:
he literally we've
seen it time and time and time again throughout history of individuals being killed for their thought, and all you do. History is the world is a flat circle, and I don't mean flat Earth. The world is a flat circle. We keep rotating back to the same things. Those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. It is a trope for a reason. It is a true trope. When you try to silence someone, the worst thing you can do is kill them for what their belief system is, or what they agree or what they disagree with. Because all you do is not only martyr them, but you also prove their point. You 100% prove their point. And what have you achieved other than you've ruined 2 lives? Well, actually, you've ruined a dozen lives.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah,
you've. And all they did was make 1 million Charlie Kirks overnight. All that happened. Turning Point USA released a thing. So they had roughly, and this is through various sources that I've read, and they all kind of track along the same rough estimates. Mm-hmm. They roughly had about 1,000 to 1,200 campus chapters throughout the United States.
Really?
Yeah, about 1,000 to 1,200 pre him being shot.
Wow.
They have since had over, as of last week's estimates, 32,000 new applications. And they used to get about, I think they said 600 to 800 applications a year. In the last week alone, it's been over 32,000 applications for new chapters throughout the United States and other countries. You just created a monster that you have all you did was open up the floodgates. There has been a huge resurgence of people going to churches. I've been watching a lot of reels of people just taking video footage of their church. And because of his passing, because of him being murdered for his beliefs, lines around the block on churches that usually have open seating.
Then you get, and there's always going to be all that different opposing side out there. And and I think one thing after it, you saw, from the left wing politicians in the world, there's a lot that come out and basically said political violence has no room anywhere,
right,
at any time. But I sit and I think and I look at a lot of our politicians, but you guys get on your news broadcast systems and every time you're just spewing hate and feeling the fire more. Why are you being reactive now that this should never happen? Why aren't those actions happening when you guys are outperforming?
Because they're scared. Because now they're losing the base.
Yeah.
And I'm not sitting here trying to do a left versus right.
No, not at all.
But
not at all.
What I will caveat that with, as an individual who leans squarely in the right, if you track the violence that has been committed in the past 5 years, I'm not going to say all, because I can't make that claim, but an overwhelming majority of it, political violence and belief violence, because those things are intertwined, overwhelmingly are buried with leftist-leaning individuals. Now, extremists, but it's overwhelming. And do with that information what you will. I'm not trying to demonize a side, because everyone is an individual and should be treated as such. However, when you have one side screaming that the other side are the devil, fascist, Nazis, but they're the ones who are doing the political violence, this was the final straw.
Good point.
This was the final straw. So many people, and I hate using the term waking up because I just feel like I should be hosting a TED Talk and that irritates me. But so many middle Americans, middle people, not even Americans, middle people in the world. Yeah. This was truly a shot that was heard around the world. Somebody likened it to World War I and Franz Ferdinand. And that's not too far off when it comes to the political world, the quote unquote political war, the quote unquote war on belief, right? Not literal war. I'm not talking about that, but the culture war that we have legitimately been in for quite a while now. And the division, and someone hearkened it to, it was the right's permission to stand up and be done. Because so much of what conservatives believe is live and let live. And I'm going to say them, but I don't mean the entire left.
Right.
The individuals who chose to do this heinous act could not live and let live. And if you have a competing ideology that is so against what you believe, to the point to where you are the villain in their story, there is no peaceful living with that. No. You can't entertain it. You can't. Right. Now, I'm not saying fight back. I'm not saying cause violence. I'm not saying that. But I have over the past couple weeks really thought about, because I was at a point where I would debate anybody. Truly, I would talk with anybody about anything. And I've always had a caveat that I won't argue uphill. I won't argue at somebody who's just going to start calling me an ist or a phobe or something, because that honestly 9 times out of 10 when I've had those slanders and things hurled at me, they have nothing to do with the conversation we're having. But I won't argue uphill. So the minute somebody starts attacking and not counterpointing, or trying to argue positively,
done.
I'm done with the conversation. I'll walk away, because all it's going to do, if I get angry, I validate them. And if I don't get angry, I'm just sitting there being berated. Why would I do that?
Yeah, exactly.
Not to mention, I'm 6'4". I'm usually bigger than the person I'm arguing with. So I'm like, I'm good. I'm just going to leave.
I'd rather be at home chilling with my dogs and sitting here.
Like, why? And I call it arguing uphill, because it's pushing a rock uphill.
Well, and I think especially me being a very moderate person, definitely lean to the right, but overall,
you're moderate. I would argue that
I'm pretty much a moderate,
middle
of the road person, and I try and always absorb. I just like absorbing information.
Yeah,
I think that's the big thing with me. And there's certain things that I'm very conservative on, and there's certain things I am very liberal on.
Right.
And and then someone told me once, well, you just that doesn't work. You just can't be moderate.
Yes, you can.
And it's just you got to have a side, or nothing's getting done. Like, I can totally be moderate, and be right in the middle, and accomplish just as many things.
You can pick from the fruit tree the fruit you need, and leave the ones you don't.
Exactly.
There's nothing inherently wrong with that.
No. No.
At all.
And the way this person kind of made it, and I'm just like, and this is an individual, younger person, and he just kind of found that hard to believe, But it's kind of like in the movie, what was it? The sequel to Meet the Parents.
Oh, Meet the Fockers.
Meet the Fockers. And
also, weird parallels we're making with that. Movie,
yeah.
All right.
But the dad's sitting there in front of the big old RV that he's got parked out in the front, and he's lying in the front of the car, and he's like, "It's okay, son. This is how we used to do it back in the day.
Yep.
This is how we solved our differences."
Yep.
And he's sitting out there. He's like, "Will you get up out of the street, man? Come on."
That's exactly it.
No, it's okay. It's all good. This is how we did this. Trust me, we'll be hugging it out by the time we're done.
Don't get me wrong. When I was in school, when I was a young man, and I was in school and high school and things like that, we'd settle our differences sometimes with fist. It would sometimes get to that point. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that violence is not around. I'm not saying that I haven't even participated in different settling through violence, but it was different because you beat the hell out of each other and then you helped the guy up.
Yeah.
Or he helped you up if he knocked you on your ass, which I got knocked on my ass plenty. And you dusted each other off and we went about our business because we got it out of our system. And it was also a young man's thing.
I think so. Yeah.
That is a young man's answer. That is a young, uneducated, unseasoned individual that says, "Hey, let's just go to blows." Dude, I don't do that no more. Now, don't get me wrong. If somebody brings two and they're absolutely set on doing violence, cool. I'm going to crush them. But I'm going to try to talk my way out of it as much as I can because I'm not going to go that direction if I can help it.
You're not going to go seek it out by any means. I think when I was in 5th grade, I punched a kid and gave him a bloody nose. I felt so bad I never hit anyone the rest of my life.
Saying I was the polar opposite. I bounced for fun because I missed fighting, but that's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there.
Right.
You don't seek wanton violence, especially with people for the sake of not agreeing with you. There are things to fight about.
Silly.
There are things to fight about. Legitimately, I will. Being disrespectful to a woman, especially your woman, I would still try to talk it out first. But I could see going there. Yeah. Protecting your children, absolutely. I'll go to violence every damn day of the week. Protecting the innocent, immediately go to violence if violence is brought upon them. But just for disagreeing, just for having a problem with somebody, because somebody said something mean and they hurt your feelings, no. Sack up, it's just words. Words don't hurt, sticks and stones, whatever happened to that saying. And move on.
Yeah, and I think in the sense of...
If you guys couldn't tell, I'm very passionate about this topic tonight.
And I think in this sense with Kirk and what happened to him, what an act of cowardice.
Oh, absolutely.
If you got a problem with someone, go talk to them about it. Face them.
Well, that's the problem.
Go face
that
them
individual
like a
couldn't
man.
debate. So what they wanted to do is they remove... You can't debate. You can't face fact. Because I will stand on, yet again, another hill I'll die on.
Or
Charlie
Kirk.
Charlie Kirk preached fact. Period. Done. Over. And I will disagree with anyone on that, including you. If you just doesn't matter who.
Yeah.
He preached fact. And you could not, as an individual or a group think, as they're starting to think, there's some stuff coming out on that, couldn't go stand there and debate the man, so you remove the debater?
Yeah, no kidding.
You can't... I can't be debated on if there's no more more person. Exactly. If that person's gone, they don't exist anymore. You know who else thought that way? Just follow me on this track. Certain Austrian who was Hitler. A really bad artist and got kicked out of art school.
Yeah.
And because of that, he held a grudge against a whole race of people and demonized them and tried to wipe them out because if you remove the people, they're no longer a problem.
Yeah. Well, if they're not there anymore, not to worry about it anymore.
Yeah. But don't get me wrong, the right's Nazis. We're the I'm the fascist. Anyway, I digress, guys. I got a little touchy with that. Don't mind me.
Right, and especially being somewhat of a historian, it's like especially so many people were desperate at that time. They'd listen to anybody. And I mean, global depression. I mean, money.
It's super interesting. Have you ever seen
money in Germany at the time was
worthless?
About the best thing you could do with it was wipe your ass with it.
One of the greatest conversions I saw was somebody showed how much it cost to buy a loaf of bread, and it was literally almost a wheelbarrow full of francs. That That's the German money at the time was called a franc. I think it still might be. I'm not sure. But at the time, it was called the German franc.
Was it?
And it literally was just paper.
Yeah.
It was just paper. It was worthless.
People were using it to start their fires.
Because of the Treaty of Versailles.
Yeah.
And they legit, don't get me wrong, Germany got boned with the Treaty of Versailles. Germany got blamed for all of World War I, and they shouldn't have been. They were a big piece, but they shouldn't have been blamed for it completely. The entirety of the world blamed Germany and essentially tanked their economy and made it ripe for a dictatorship to take over. And an individual, as Hitler was, who served in World War I, who was a war hero of his time. I'm not saying Hitler was a war hero. No. Don't take that out of context. Of course not. In his own people's mind, he was an individual who fought in conflict and was successful in fighting for his country. So survived before he became the monstrosity he was. And there's always an underlying of that. But before he became the famous monstrosity he was just a man who fought, and he was a war hero as far as they were concerned. And what did the man do? He was very charismatic. He used his military prowess. And
he wasn't stupid.
No, he wasn't stupid.
Very
he was
smart.
He was a meth head, but he wasn't stupid.
Very intelligent.
Very intelligent.
How else could you have pulled that shit off?
And he was super charismatic. That's the part people don't remember and don't realize. They don't give him the credit, and I don't want to say giving Hitler credit, but they don't give the credit to the fact that he was very charismatic. And at the time, Germany felt that the world was out to get them, because they were. Legitimately, the world was out to get them. They were being blamed for everything from World War II. It was ripe for someone to come in and lead people astray. And what better way than to find a group of individuals to blame?
Yeah.
When you have so much angst, anger, and hatred, it's always somebody else.
Do you know who else was like that? And I just read this from a couple different books, not just one, but multiple authors that have talked about it. Look at Karl Marx, man.
Oh, don't even get me started.
He was angry.
We'll do a whole thing about Karl Marx.
Yeah, absolutely. But that dude, like his children, from what I read, didn't care for the man one bit. And
none of his family did. You know who did?
And he was
Joseph Lenin.
Yeah,
that was his follower.
And he mooched off of every opportunity he could get to and cling to off his own parents, just for his own advancement. For crying out loud!
The same man who created an ideology of communism, which doesn't work, by the way. And if you believe it does, you're dumb.
Look at all the people that have starved to death over the past 100 years.
Don't even get me see bread lines. That's great ideas, bread lines. Anyway. But Karl Marx led a movement on theory, right? Theory. The theoretical movement of communism was everyone's equal. Everyone's this. The state, you own nothing. The state owns everything, but everyone's happy. But yet the man's buried in England at a cemetery. You have to pay to go see his body. Make it make sense.
Yeah. Even here today, or even a Marx like-minded person today, I'll sit and listen to their rhetoric. I'll sit and listen to what they're doing. I'll take it in and try and pull myself out of that situation.
You try to put yourself in their shoes to see where they're coming from. You don't have to agree with it.
Yeah, to see where they're coming from. But, dude, I would never wish any ill will on them.
No, but I'll debate them.
Yeah, I'll debate them. I might tell them they're wrong and think they're crazy, but I would never... I couldn't even... imagine wanting to wish them harm. I think you're crazy and I don't agree with you, but peace, go forward, have a good life.
One of the best ways.
Where does that even come from? That just because you disagree with them and hate them that much, where you go that extreme, where you take it to that level, you don't even know the guy. You wish him
dead.
Yeah, you don't even know the friggin' dude.
Right.
Give me a break, man.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand the level of hatred. Like I can despise a lot of stuff legitimately, right? For good reason. But I can't understand the level of hatred for somebody you don't even know.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. Like, look at some of the worst people in history: Joseph Stalin, Pol Pot, Adolf Hitler. Give me a couple others.
Well, more modern ones. Saddam Hussein. Look what he did to the Iraqi people. Are you kidding me?
Saddam Hussein, Osama bin Laden, and I can hate actions of the individuals, right? Mm-hmm. A couple of those people I lived through. I was alive when they were alive, but I didn't know them. Nothing they did directly affected my family. I can't say that I hated them.
Right.
I can't. I'm not saying I like them. Don't get me wrong. But I can't sit here and tell you I hate.
Hate is such a strong word.
Right. Like I don't know them. Nothing affects me. Like I knew a girl. I used to date a girl who was Jewish, from a very predominant from a very predominant area, and Jewish bastion on the West Coast, and her family still generations later talked about Hitler like he was their personal demon, and in a way he was.
Yeah.
She came from a clan that was over half destroyed and almost didn't make it out of World War II. Mm-hmm. So there was a lot of history there, and I don't disagree with the apprehension in that. But her dad and her family, her uncle and stuff like that, would sit there and talk about the Nazis and Hitler and sometimes the Russians. We won't go into that. As if it was yesterday and they were personally on trains.
Yeah.
And it's like, don't get me wrong. Atrocities happened. They should never be forgotten. Nope. They should be taught and studied and told the truth on over and over again. But those people are all dead. Holding on to that hate is just rotting you away.
Yeah.
That happened. Move on from. It was so bad that when she took German in college, her dad was pissed.
Well, I'm trying to think. My granddad was a World War II vet.
Yeah, my great-grandfather was.
If you mentioned anything, Japanese vehicle or anything, he'd give you the look and be like, oh, that happened in here.
Right. And I can understand the thought behind it.
I can too.
And he at least had a rationality that he lived through it, right? I could understand that.
I can sympathize. Could have sympathized with my grandfather. And even to this day, kind of like we said, that's what grandpa did, so I do it. And there's parts of my grandfather that I still cherish and still hold true in his beliefs. If I was at the age where I'm at today, I think our conversations would have been different than when I was 14 years old.
Right. When you were a know-nothing kid.
Exactly. But now it's like, I still remember the wisdom that he gave me.
Just because you disagree with somebody doesn't mean there's not wisdom to impart.
Exactly. And today I think our viewpoints would have clashed, a little bit. But, that's why we have history.
Yes.
And someone would say, oh, we got to erase every
negative thing,
swastika flag that's out there.
That's the worst thing.
And it's like flying that type of flag and posting it everywhere and all that stuff. That's one thing. There's
flying it in perpetuity, and with the intention of the belief system being resurrected, is one thing.
Yeah,
posting a remembrance of history.
Well, and that's
is different.
And that's what I was going to say. There is a place for a flag like that. It's called history books and museums.
Yeah.
That's where it belongs. So we remember it, we learn from it, we don't let those things happen
Absolutely.
Again. Yes, they should still be in existence, but they need to be in existence in the proper place.
In the proper not texture.
Setting?
No, what am I trying to not texture. Texture is the wrong word. I keep honing in on texture. Context.
Yeah, context.
It was close. It was same letters.
It's like we're going to be doing flying that flag out there. Even just, we could say the Confederate flag. And even if wherever you're from, if you say it's a heritage thing, yeah, sure, whatever. I guess to me, it belongs in history books and museums. I fly the 50 stars and the 13 stripes. That's my flag.
Yep.
That's my flag. That's my code.
The Gadsden flag, the Come and Take It flag, things that are intrinsic to American values that support.
Don't tread on me.
That flag right up there.
Yeah.
Don't tread on me. Join or die. Things like that support that flag up there, and are in support of it. 100% agree. Fly them. Have at it. But I've always had a problem with the Southern flag being flown in perpetuity. Not in historical context, not at museums, not at places that were set up as a fort, and they're like, hey, this was the Confederate fort, we're flying the flag.
Yeah.
But what really got me on the Confederate flag thing, yet again, super right-leaning conservative, was it would be flown with the American flag. Courthouses in the South, a lot of them will fly both in those areas.
Like the
And
one below
no,
the American
I'm sorry,
flag on top.
I'm not even below, separate flagpole,
Really?
beside, as if it had the same bastion, as if it held the same value. And I'm sorry, no, no, you fly the American flag.
Yeah.
State flags are flowing underneath the American flag,
yes,
or beside them. But the American flag's always front and center.
yeah, exactly.
You're an American first.
Yes,
I'm sorry your side lost. That sucks.
yeah.
And I don't got a dog in the fight. I'm not from a northern or southern
And
state.
We've come so far away. It's like we have enough tribes in America.
Yeah.
We
People are naturally tribal.
We have
Humanity is naturally
we
tribal.
have enough groups. We have enough organizations. We have enough. If sports is, we have enough sports teams.
Yeah.
You know, we don't need more of that. What brings people together? Where's that peacekeeper? You know.
Yep.
You know.
Funny you say peacekeeper.
There you go.
So we're gonna roll into some stuff real quick. There's a couple different things that I printed out and their definitions. If I were to say kind and nice to you, which one do you think is more important, being kind or being nice? It's a thought experiment. I'm talking to him instead of you guys because you guys can't answer me.
Kind.
Kind. Why? Without reading the paper, why?
Because sometimes being nice is just people hearing what they want to hear, where kind maybe is giving you more of reality, not just what you want to hear, but they're still humble about it, I guess. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Where, sure, it's nice, you can be nice, but people can walk all over you if you're nice.
Yeah.
You can still stand up on your own 2 feet and triumph into victory if you're kind.
So, I've always been a person who says kind over nice. I'm kind. I'm not nice. I'm not a nice man, but I'm kind.
Yeah.
The reason is because there's a huge difference. People try to use them interchangeably, and we get hung up on words. I very much am a student of history and a student of words. And words matter. Yeah. So I have some definitions.
If I hurt your feelings, I don't care necessarily.
Correct.
But I can still be kind about when I hurt your feelings.
Right. Here's a couple definitions and origins of kind and nice. Kind. Kindness is defined as the quality of being friendly, generous, and considerate, of a sympathetic or helpful nature, of a forbearing nature, gentle, of a kind to give pleasure or relief, affectionate, loving. Kindness is a quality of being gentle, caring, and helpful. We have been treated, this is quotations, we have been treated with such kindness by everybody. Synonyms are goodwill, understanding, charity, grace. And grace is more synonyms of kindness. It's derived from Old English of Germanic origin related to kin. The original sense was nature or the natural order. Also, innate character, form, or condition. Class, sort, variety. Also, kind, nature, race, and family. I found that super interesting. Kin being the root form of family.
Yeah.
Family, race, give birth, beget. If I'm saying that right, I might be saying that. With derivatives referring to procreation and familiar and tribal groups. The reason I found that super interesting is because it takes a courage to be kind enough to tell someone that they're wrong. Because you actually care about them. Which is a family thing. That's a family trait.
It's kind of how Kirk was.
Right.
It was how Kirk was.
Right. He was kind. He wasn't nice. Nice. Here's the definitions of nice. Pleasant, agreeable, and satisfactory. I really want to hone in on that third one. Satisfactory. Similar, enjoyable, pleasant, pleasurable, agreeable, delightful, satisfying, gratifying, acceptable, to one's liking, entertaining, which I found interesting, amusing, diverting, and marvelous. Fine or subtle. Middle English this is funny. So from Old French, and be it from Old French Latin, in a sense, it meant stupid. Latin nescius, if I'm saying that right, and I'm probably saying it completely wrong. Nescius, it meant the best translation was ignorant, or nescire was to not know. Other early senses included coy, reserved, giving rise to fastidious and scrupulous. This led both to the sense of fine and subtle. I found that super interesting that one of the closest direct lines from Latin that we could find for it was ignorant and stupid.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
This was nice.
This was nice.
This was nice.
Right? So, niceness versus kind. Nice, never want to rock the boat. Most concerned about not upsetting someone. Afraid to speak up when witnessing unkind behavior. Make sure not to say anything that will make them unliked by others. Avoids conflict at all costs. Short-term comfort. More interested in comfort. Telling people what they want to hear. Where kind, willing to make waves. Most concerned with doing what is right. Willing to speak up and take a stand. Worried about their fellow man and being kind with them. Honest, even if uncomfortable. Long-term positive impact. Sets boundaries when needed and addresses issues at the risk of conflict.
Even we've said on here, if I'm doing something wrong or something's not working or a friend could help me out and somehow, it's like, I'd rather have the truth than be nice to me.
Correct. Don't agree with me just because you don't want to rock the boat.
Be real.
If I'm sitting here saying something that's just off the wall and off the cuff and I'm dead freaking wrong, provably.
Yeah.
Tell me I'm dead wrong. Absolutely. I'd rather have a conversation about it.
Be truthful with me. I'd rather you be truthful with me than feed me a line of nonsense because I'm just going to take that nonsense and run with it. I hope not, but
there's going into the last point, what both of them get together that can be either nice or kind. Considerate of others' feelings, legitimately.
Yeah.
Supportive of others. Respectful, friendly, and polite, generous, and makes others feel good. The interesting thing I found on this one was supportive of others. Because nice people are always supportive of you, even if you're wrong. Yeah. Even if you're wrong, they'll be supportive. They'll be super supportive about it because it's not rocking the boat. It's making you feel good.
Yeah. And it's like one of those, and I think I've been in those instances before where I was like, hey man, if that's what you feel you got to do, I think you're wrong.
Right.
And I'm going to be that devil's advocate. I'm going to say, go with caution.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vaya con Dios, man. Go with God. That's me being kind. If you fall flat on your face and get your butt kicked while you're at it, and then I don't want to say I told you so, because I don't like saying I told you so, because and we've said this on here before, when you say I told you so, that means someone's hurting. I don't want you to hurt. I mean, if it's your own will doing and you do it to yourself, then I'm like, I'll tell you what, man, I'll keep praying for you. I don't want to be around you, but
it's not that you don't. I'm gonna disagree with you.
Sure.
We all love.
You can disagree.
We all right. Hey, look at that.
There we go. Right there.
There you go. As humanity, we love the "I told you so." We fiend off of it. Everybody. I've never met a soul who does not covet being right. Here's the difference. You don't want to be the guy who likes to say "I told you so." You like it. Everybody likes it. It's that dopamine hit of "I was right."
Something to consider.
It's validation, but you work hard to not enjoy being right. In that, not enjoy being the guy that told him so.
Right.
Because then it's taking joy in somebody else's misery.
Right.
That's the difference.
Yeah, good point.
Everybody loves being right. Everybody. I've not met an individual who likes being right.
So, something to consider.
Or who does not like being right.
Something to think about.
Right. Right. See, I was right. So I told you so. I'm just messing. So, with all that being said, I believe it's very important to be kind and not nice.
Yeah.
Niceness is a falsehood. Kindness is true compassion and love, just like Charlie Kirk was. He was kind. He would tell somebody dead to the face, "You're wrong. Here's this, and this point. But let's talk about it."
Yeah. You'd even a couple I just saw his little shorts on YouTube, and said
that's how I started too, and then I started actually interested.
I've never really read anything that he wrote. I just would watch his little deals on there, and there was even times I remember where he would just come out and say, "Hey man, I care about you.
Yeah,
I can see this is going here, and I can see where you're going, but maybe take this little hints of advice and take and run with it. At the end of the day, if you think I'm wrong, fine. I don't care. If you think I'm wrong, you think I'm wrong. Yep. But at least I had the chance and the opportunity, I guess, to get you to think about it different and from a different point of view.
No,
What an awful thing.
Yeah, and to take that from people, to take
shit.
that bastion of hope from people, that
Exactly.
that cornerstone, and then to take it from his family. That there is evil in the world. I'm a firm believer of there is evil in the world. I don't care if you disagree with me or not. There is, and that was evil.
It was pure evil.
Pure evil.
It was a straight up act of an evildoer.
Yeah, simple as that.
It's dumb. I don't get it. I'll never understand it.
Nope.
No.
No, never. The person could sit across from me and explain to me exactly what they were thinking, and I can't even comprehend it.
Yeah, and even the one guy has a show on HBO, Bill Maher.
Mayer. Bill Mayer?
Yeah.
Mayer? M-A-H-E,
And-
no, M-A-H-R? So I think that's
Yeah, M-A-H-E-R.
M-A-H-E-R.
And he was sitting on there talking, and one of the things that he said was, and just, kind of like we were talking, feeling remorseful, praying for his family and feeling that empathy and sympathy for him, but he was sitting there, and then one thing that really caught my mind that Meyer said was, and for anyone out there celebrating something like that happening, I don't have time. I don't have no time for you.
Nope.
Yep. I have nothing to say to you.
I have nothing nice to say to you.
But yeah, I have nothing to say to you. I'm not even going to address it. I'm moving on from that. But if you're celebrating that happened, I have nothing for you. I have no words for you. I got nothing.
Hey, listen, there are plenty of people I could name in the political space, in the non-political space, anti-belief space, atheism space, whatever, that I can name and be like, I don't like this person.
Right.
I don't like their viewpoint. I don't like what they do. I don't wish them dead. I don't wish violence and harm upon them.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a monster.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Their existence isn't pain to me. Their ignorance is annoying as shit.
Keyword. It's annoying.
Correct.
But you can always walk away from it.
Right.
You don't have to sit and listen to it.
I can turn off the computer, turn off the TV, or turn off my phone.
YouTube done.
Or just don't watch it.
Yeah. Quit watching.
I don't got to get in there in the comments and be like, this is why you're mad. I don't get it's first off, it's going to fall on deaf ears. Why would I bother?
No,
Two,
I'm
just going to incite irritation with someone that I don't know who's going to who might just take it upon themselves to make me the object of their consternation from here on out because I happen to disagree with them or happen to say something that was rude or whatever, right? And then I'll move on and forget about it because my life doesn't revolve around people I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
And then that person might find me one day and try to shoot me or run me over with a car.
No kidding.
Or just try to make my life very uncomfortable for the 10 seconds I have to interact with them that I don't even remember interacting with them. Why would I bother?
Yeah, exactly.
Why would I bother?
Yeah. 100%.
It's not worth it.
100%. Well, and I think what fuels that, is, and topics we've talked about here on before, your pride and your ego.
Yep.
And how much of that ego do you get before it's overflowing? And
look at that, guys. We're coming full circle on connecting things.
Exactly.
We're like, what's that meme with Charlie from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Oh.
Where he's in front of the board and he's got all the stuff connecting. He's got the cigarette. He's like, look. That's where we'll get eventually. It's just everything connecting.
The pieces on our wall here of all our shows are starting to align.
Connect and align.
But it's like, why would you get yourself so caught up in all that mess and so there when you could simply be like, you know what? Time out, getting away from the phone, taking my dog for a walk. Yep. I'm getting away from people. Yep. And we've even talked about that in here. It's okay to it's okay to cut people out of your life.
Yes.
There's a kind way
healthy.
to do it. It's healthy. Mm-hmm. There's a kind way to do it.
Yes.
There's a very kind way to do it and just be done with it. And say your piece and Godspeed.
We'll save that other side for another episode.
And Godspeed and life is great. And then, but and with our differences, it's okay to have differences.
It's needed. I'm not even going to say it's okay.
Yeah, it's needed. It's just so crazy. Because everyone knows everything, and they take it to the grave. And I want to be one of the not the first person to ever say, but
no,
I don't always want to be right.
No.
I don't always want to,
I want somebody to show me something I don't know.
Exactly.
You know what I tell my kids every day? To come come teach me something I don't know.
Teach me something new. When we can
teach me something I
we
don't
can
know.
always learn.
Yeah.
There's always something
there
to
needs
learn.
to be a hunger there. Put the phone down, stop doom scrolling, and find something productive. You know what I've come to get into?
Find a new hobby.
When last week when Charlie, it was last week, right? When you were shot, wasn't it? Yes, it was last week. I don't know. My weeks blend together, man. I don't even know what day it is anymore.
Been busy the past few weeks,
right? The week Charlie Kirk was shot happened to be a week I was fasting.
Yeah.
My church called a church-wide fast, and I decided that week I was going to fast the entire week. And every day I read my Bible, and every day I read one chapter to dive into it and really dissect it and digest it while I was fasting. And it happened to be that week. Yeah. And it was super interesting, the parallels.
Yeah.
Because I was reading Psalms 144. Blessed be the Lord, my rock, who teaches my hands for war, my fingers for battle, my high tower and my deliverer. And it was super interesting seeing parallels in that chapter with what was occurring. And it was just I don't believe in coincidence. I'm not going to say it was divine intervention or anything like that, but I'm also not a big believer in coincidence. Everything happens for a reason.
Still, we won't know if it's divine intervention. It could be.
Correct.
Could have been.
Correct. So I just found it super interesting. And that just happened to be that week. And it was I put the phone down.
Yeah.
I dove into it. I looked behind meanings of things. I'm a KJV guy. I like King James Version, old school. A lot of these and thous.
I'm more of an NSRV guy.
Yeah. But I like the old speak and diving into it and seeing why things were said the way they were. And I really like that connectivity. And another thing that I found a lot of is I've been taking a ton of courses, not a ton. Every now and again I take a course on Hillsdale College. They have a bunch of free online courses.
Oh, I'm familiar with it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And they dive into history, and it's like, I love it. But what do? I put the phone down. Yeah. I get out of doom scrolling. I get out of watching videos that I don't get any enrichment from. I just get entertainment from. And I learn something.
Yeah, well, and
I took a class on communism and Karl Marx. That's how I know so. I've gotten to know so much about it.
Well, of course, man. I think it's the way you got to be.
Yeah.
And it's just, I guess with our differences, that there's so many, through differences is how we find solutions.
Yeah.
That's where we learn to compromise and come to a table. You're not going to get the whole pie.
No.
Break that to everyone. You're not going to get the whole pie.
You're not going to have everything.
You're not going to have everything.
You're not going to win across the board.
But if you get a few wins and a portion of that pie and there's still good things going on, I'm like, that's okay. You're not going to get the whole pie.
No.
It's just, it's not going to happen. The way our founding fathers created our Constitution was to compromise.
Yes.
To come to solutions when differing opinions come around and we agree to disagree, but we're going to figure out what's the right thing to do. And we're going to compromise.
There were a few base hard set rules.
Yeah, a few.
Freedom of speech, Second Amendment, freedom of religion, the things that, I hate to say the word common sense because that gets thrown around a lot against those things. But there were a few things that hey, these base ingredients cannot change. These base ingredients are human rights. They're not gifted to you by a government.
No.
They are inalienable. How am I trying to say it? Inalienable?
Inalienable.
Is that inalienable? Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Inalienable rights. Sorry, guys. I'm borderline dumb. Those baseline traits of humanity and rights are gifted to us by the Creator, not by any government. But past that, it was always meant to be the greater whole coming together and deciding for the future of the country what it's supposed to be.
Right. Where's it comes that term? You're an American.
First.
You're an American. You're not a this and I'm a this American or that American. No, you're an American.
You're not Irish American. You're not Scandinavian American. You're not African American. You're not Native American. You're an American. Everything else is secondary.
Yes, you are an American. And when you're an American, that creates unity.
Yeah.
And compromise creates
unity. The minute you start caveating American,
yes,
is you interjecting divide. You're sub-camping yourself. You're sub-tribal.
You're intentionally polarizing things that don't need polarized. And the way propaganda runs, especially in today's world, it's like, don't get caught up in that stuff. And I think especially, for our viewers, if you see someone doing something stupid or completely out of the norm there, try
call them on it.
Call them on it. Notice it and
Absolutely.
Be like,
kindly, not nicely, kindly.
Are you all right?
Yeah.
It's okay to check in on people and say,
check on your homies.
Right? And if they're doing something stupid and out of the ordinary and you notice it, do all means stop them.
Yeah.
If you have the ability and the means to stop them, stop them. Don't let them continue to
be self-destructive.
Self-destructive, and at least try.
Yeah.
At least try. And once you've tried, I guess, then you can hold your head up high and be like, that, I was there and we tried it out. Kind of like when we talked about with being compassionate with people. And I know we're running out of time here, but with being compassionate with people, some people just continue to push it to a point where you can't have the compassion anymore.
Well, people get in a cycle, right? You and I have talked about this. We talked about this on the podcast before. Yeah. Of you get in a cycle and you get in a spiral and you say the same things over and over and over and you beat a dead horse and you don't ever get past the thing. You hyperfixate on something and you have to move past it, especially if you're wrong. But even if you're not wrong, the fact that I've heard you say that you're right 1,000 times doesn't make you more right all of a sudden.
No.
It just makes me very irritated that you keep saying that you're fucking right. Sorry, guys. This episode like I said, passionate about, so I curse a couple times. And I try not to. But just because you just are so dead set that you're right, you need a parade to show how right you are. I'm sorry. I don't care. I'm going to move on from it. I've admitted you're right. Let's keep going. Let's go on to something else. Or, no, bud, you're not right. You're just trying to believe that you're right so much that you refuse to see the forest through the trees. You refuse to see fact that you're not right. So now you're going to double, triple, and quadruple down.
Yeah.
You're a gambling addict, essentially. A good way to caveat it, or not caveat it, antidote it. You're a gambling addict who, next big hit, I'm going to earn it all back. Next big hit, I'm going to earn. You say it enough, it becomes true. No, that's not how that works. You can say it as much as you want, and it still will not be correct.
You're sinking in quicksand.
Yeah, and you're thrashing around, sinking quicker.
Yep.
Instead of calming down, taking a breath, and reaching out for the branch that's there.
Exactly.
Like, I don't understand that mentality. Yeah, Thanks for listening to the rant today, guys.
Yeah,
we got a little ranty. I got a little ranty. This was something I was super passionate about. So we're kind of trying a new thing.
A lot to digest.
Yeah.
And I would say, to finish up tonight, take care of the people you care about. Give that friend or family member a hug. Tell them you love them. Try and find positivity when we're negative.
Yes.
Find that positivity,
find a common ground,
because you never know what's coming around the corner. And if you're sitting there negative, and it's like the last thing you remember doing when the thing around the corner prevented you from doing something, or all of a sudden your life comes to a screeching halt. What's the last thing you want running through your mind? Something positive or something negative?
Yeah.
Whatever's to come. I guess that's just me. But
it's weird. One of the things that was running through my mind, and I don't think this was Charlie Kirk at all, but it was interesting. You remember The Dark Knight?
The movie? Batman?
The second one. You either die the hero or live long enough to see become the villain. And I don't think he was a villain. I don't think he ever became a villain. Was. I'm not saying that.
No.
But that has been playing in my head.
Oh, yeah.
Because he died a hero.
No, I want to watch that movie.
It's such a good movie. I just got done watching it.
I might have to go home and watch it tonight.
Yeah, they're on, all three of them are on HBO.
Yeah,
they're great. But anyway, guys, last piece of dad advice for me. Kind of piggybacking off what he said. Hug your loved ones. Stand in your faith. Stand in your belief system. Make a stand. Don't back down. Don't be rude, but don't back down. Draw that line and love people, because you never know when you're going to be not here.
Exactly.
If this last week has taught us anything, from day to day, we never know what's going to take us from this world. And you need to go out, like you said, you need to go out with your legacy being making an impact in somebody's life. Even if it's
Amen.
that bum on the corner that you gave $5 to, or your kids who you raised right, or whatever, right? Positive impact. Be the person that is remembered for the positive things you did, not the negative.
Right.
Because like Charlie Kirk will always be remembered for his positivity.
I think so.
The guy who killed him, which I won't even say that person's name, I will not dignify them with a name.
Don't even know it.
I unfortunately know it because I do follow cases, unfortunately.
Of course, I getcha.
But I will never say that person's name. I will never validate them with fame. But he lived to be a hero. He will be remembered for his positive impact. This individual will only be remembered for the quickest flash pan that they're remembered for the negative things they did in life. I want to be remembered for positivity. I don't want to be remembered for negative.
Yep. Agreed.
So remember, guys, that is the most important thing. Love your homies. Hug your loved ones. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you letting me just spiral today. Real quick, we're going to try a new thing. This has been the past couple episodes now. Every episode, we pick a topic and we don't tell the other what the topic is until we're on set. So all this conversation, not pre-scripted. Today was my choice.
It's improv.
It's improv. So improv. I brought a couple things to help us through kind of where my thought process was, but Aaron had no idea what we were talking about tonight. Next time, it's going to be his turn. I am going to have no idea what we're talking about that day. So it's all, we jokingly say, we're doing it live, but it is in a way. You're getting our live conversation and reaction to what we're talking about.
We're not re-recording anything.
No, we're just going to roll with it. And if we make mistakes and we're dumb, we are anyway. So, all right, guys, love y'all. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, comment. Get this out there. We would love to grow this community, love to grow this channel, and we just want to be here for you guys. Drop a comment, tell us what we should talk about in the future. Maybe we'll, once a month do a conversation that is your guys' thing. If we get enough of you on board to do it. So, all right, guys, peace, love, bye.